Good evening, viewers, and welcome to a brand new episode of Bahrain Now. Tonight's episode is filled with amazing talents as we highlight one of the country's greatest pioneers and entrepreneurs, DALLAH, and this is Bahrain Now. So he is a movie director, a filmmaker, came all the way from Hollywood and came together with an amazing successful project. Ladies and gentlemen, with us here today is Ali Fingers.
What's happening?
What's going on?
Nothing much, Habibi.
Amazing,
Thanks for having me here. I always believed that we do have the capabilities.
Right.
And after coming back from Los Angeles, it further cemented that idea.
Okay.
That we have it. We have everything that we need to do everything that we want.
Right. I mean, you know, Ali, seeing your talent resume, right? So, voiceover artist, and you did a lot of acting as well, stand-up comedian, athletic, all of it together, but you took filmmaking to another level. So tell us about that.
Well, see, a lot of people try to find labels for what we do or what I do.
Right.
If I was to put it all in one word or one term, I'm a storyteller.
Okay.
So my creative journey, if we can call it that, started in 2006, and it was stand-up. You remember.
What?
Stand-up comedy to me was my outlet where I can get up on stage. It's just me and the crowd. And there's no music, there are no props, there's nothing else. It's just the stage and myself. So I write the stuff, I deliver the stuff. If they like it, they like it. If they don't, I'm left to dry, basically. Stand-up, walillah alhamd, opened up a lot of doors for me.
Okay.
Because I was performing, when you're telling a joke, you're acting. So it attracted certain directors. It attracted people who wanted, that charisma, that personality. From that, it also got me involved in some writing gigs. I remember when we did the Arabian Nights of Comedy.
Right.
I got approached by someone after that show, and I was doing accents, right?
Yeah.
The lady walked up to me, and this was from a marketing agency, and they were like, by the way, we really like the voices that you do. Do you write your material? I was like, yes. Can you do a cartoon? Sure I can, sure. I've never tried it. I know nothing about how to make a cartoon. What I do know is that every now and then I do get funny cartoon-like ideas. So it started from there. People assumed I would be able to do something because of something that they've already seen me do. وتوكلت على الله, and I said yes, like, why not? So from stand-up to acting to writing the cartoon.
Right.
Eventually, it took me down the path of okay, I'm acting in people's projects, but I have my own ideas, and I can't tell the director or the producer or the writer what my ideas were.
Right.
My role was an actor. So in my capacity as an actor, I can only do so much in terms of creative freedom.
Right.
So I was like, okay, at some point I want to try telling my own stories in my own way.
Okay.
So I borrowed a camera, and for the world to know, I borrowed Bara''s camera.
Oh, wow.
And this was in 2013 maybe?
Pretty much, yeah.
So 2013, Bara' gives me his camera, nice little Sony, and I asked some friends, hey, do you want to act? Do you want to act? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? We got the friends together, and I started translating my stand-up material to comedy sketches.
Yeah, I remember that.
They're called Misfits.
Misfits comedy. I mean, some of them even went viral.
They went viral, and I never thought they would. I thought this is something that only my uncles and aunts will watch.
All right.
And there were 15-second sketches, and then it went to like a minute. But two of them got picked up by a film festival in London called JKR. It's JKR, Jayykar, JKR.
Okay.
Like the Kuwaiti JKR.
All right.
It was the JKR Gulf Comedy Festival in London.
Okay.
The guys from Shino Yani and them in Kuwait were also in this. The guys from Tilfaz in Saudi were also in this.
Amazing.
So for me, these guys are people that I watch, you know what I mean? Now my work is in the same program as theirs.
Okay.
It was a very, طبعا Nizar and the guys from Shino Yani, they told me about it. They sent me the thing. Oh, by the way, you're with us in this festival. Luckily, in London, BBC Arabic covered that festival. 2 of my sketches made it to that festival. I believe it was the funeral, when Batman shows up
I
to the funeral.
remember that. Yeah, the funeral. I mean, we hopefully still there. You can actually watch it. Okay.
And the other one was the hitchhiking commercial, the hitchhiking sketch.
Okay.
Through the festival, through the BBC documentary about that festival, got me the attention of a group of lovely people that were organizing a TEDx talk. It was a TED talk.
Yeah.
So I received that TED talk, the invitation to do a TED talk, because of Misfits. So one thing leads to the other, right? That's why we put our 100% energy in any work that we do, because you never know who's going to see it.
Right.
So just because people aren't paying you as much as you want to be paid, just because you don't have the resources, does not mean you should do a mediocre job.
Right.
Do the best that you can. And I'm living proof
True.
that you really never know. So I got called to do a TED talk, right? They called me up and they said, right, we have a theme. The theme is driving destiny. We've selected you because you're a comedian and we really like your comedy and it seems like you have something to say. So would you like to do a TED talk?
Amazing.
And مثل الكرتون, just like the cartoons, like, yeah, sure, why not? So I spent 64 hours pulling my hair out.
Wow.
But I wrote it. And the guys were great who developed it, who organized the TED talk.
Right.
This is 2015. 2015, I do the TED talk. Again, it got well received, alhamdulillah. I was talking about my journey, who I am, why I do what I do, and what I think comedy, I called it the power of comedy.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I saw that title.
So the power of comedy, my point was, it doesn't matter what the genre is, if it's a drama or a comedy, as long as you have a story, the essence is the same.
Right.
It's all about how you perceive it. So I related that to daily life and with human beings. Things like emotions are contagious. If I'm next to you and I'm depressed, by the end of the day, you're probably going to be a little depressed too.
Pretty much.
If I'm sitting down in a comedy show and he tells a joke that I find hilarious, you find not so funny, but I'm laughing, you're going to laugh with me.
Contagious.
Exactly. So that eventually was one of the main things that allowed me to get the Fulbright scholarship from the US Embassy.
Amazing, yeah. We were so happy when that happened.
Alhamdulillah, yeah. I got the call, okay, Fulbright scholarship, it's a scholarship program. I think it's been around for 40 plus years. And every year they select a certain number of individuals where the US government sponsors their education into whatever they want.
Awesome.
And the catch is, you're not allowed to stay in America. We don't want you to go and live in the US. We will help you to come back to your country and do work.
Okay.
And to do something that we taught you, you know what I mean? We offer you resources and we offer you the ways to learn something, come back and do it here. So in my interview, what they asked me, why do you think we should send you? And I said, well, I want to learn from the best. Okay. And we all grew up watching Hollywood, so to us, regardless of what you think of Hollywood films or mainstream films or whatnot, they are the best at what they do. They are the industry. So there's the world cinema and then there's American cinema.
Right.
So why do you want to learn it? Honestly, because I really believe that, like I just told you a few moments ago, Bahrainis have creativity in abundance, energy and talent in spades. What we lack is the knowledge, the process, the know-how. And I wanted to learn that from them. The way the scholarship works is, you go through a year process.
Right.
There's interviews, there's tests, there's criteria that you have to meet. And then you select 5 universities and they choose where to send you. And I was sent to Hollywood, Los Angeles.
Crazy.
Wow. I spent almost 3 years, just under 3 years over there.
Wow.
And I got my master's in filmmaking.
Master's in filmmaking, wow.
So I can teach in universities now. I can teach filmmaking in any university in the world. I have the paperwork to show it. Well, alhamdulillah, I've worked with, like some of my teachers, like my cinematography teacher, shot all the Taken films. My lighting instructor was the DP, the director of photography for all the Saw films.
Wow.
The person who taught me how to produce and AD, first AD, like the organization, the schedule of a shoot, how to take the shots, how to take a script and break it down and shoot it, when to shoot what, how to coordinate all that. The guy who taught me that, David Newman, was the AD on The Flash. So my school was in Burbank Studios, between Burbank and Universal. So we did our shooting exercises in the Universal Studios backlot, where they shot things like A Good Place, where they shot, my first exercise was on the set of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Man.
The exterior set, not the interior set.
But still, that's phenomenal.
Like I'm in I'm in a classroom with someone who worked with Ridley Scott. He's my teacher.
Yeah.
So what that did to me as a human being, it broke the barrier between they are gods of cinema to they're just regular human beings.
Right.
They eat, sleep, and drink like we do. What they have is process, that Hollywood process. Filmmaking is a marriage of art and science. And us as Bahrainis, we have the art. We have the creativity. What I think, my opinion, what we lack is process, the science part.
Okay.
And I am now trained to marry both.
So now, with all that being said, coming back to Bahrain and doing different kind of projects, but it seems like you still have that script and you still have that idea of creating an actual film, movie.
Yes, sir. I'm
In
doing
Bahrain.
many, actually, yeah.
So what do you have in mind? What kind of future plans do we have here going on?
So, okay, so I just launched my production company a few months ago. It's called Wikked Productions.
Okay.
And my aim to do that is my activities range between motion picture, so anything on video,
Okay.
audio production, we're talking radio, ebooks, e-stories,
Right.
and training services. So I
Okay.
want to train other filmmakers in the Hollywood process. So the process that people use here, and I've been on sets, it's not a bad process, it's just an old process.
I think so.
I
That's
know
what's
so.
happening. Okay.
Because why is it then when I'm in Los Angeles and I get given a budget, I can tell you when we're shooting for 12 hours, I can tell you how much 1 minute costs.
Okay.
So every minute you waste is that amount of money being burnt.
Right.
That makes people work more efficiently. And then we have clear designated roles and responsibilities within the job, within the art of making films.
Right.
So when we do that in Bahrain, we need to train each other. We need to help each other. Bahrainis, we reached this place here as creative talent without any references, without any institutions, without any film schools.
Right.
So that's why hats off or ghetras off to every Bahraini filmmaker, to every Bahraini creative person to reach the level that they have reached without these film schools, without the art universities. So I clap for them.
Right.
So
Much
if we can
appreciated.
help raise that knowledge, knowledge, nobody owns knowledge. I got lucky, thank God. So I want to help do that with my company. So I'm currently working with another couple of production companies that I'm affiliated with.
Okay.
And I'm also developing a few feature films.
Amazing.
So I'm a comedian,
Okay.
but that doesn't necessarily mean I have to make comedy films. So I currently am developing, when you're asking about full feature films, I'm developing two concepts, right? So I am developing a suspense horror kind of concept,
Ooh.
which is, which people like, and I read a lot of horror, I read a lot of fantasy.
All right.
If you want to write, read. Like, that's all you have to do. If you read, you can write. So learn how to, read the stories that you like
Okay.
and figure out what it does for you. Anyways, so I'm developing the suspense, the suspense horror, and I'm also working on a, how do you say it? It's not a comedy, it's a dramedy.
Dramedy.
It's
A
like
bit of both.
a bit of drama and a bit of comedy.
Yeah.
The horror concept, if you'd like some words about it, yani.
A little bit. Let's see.
Whatever I can share. I do have producers attached to this, so
Oh,
I
okay.
can't share a lot.
NDA.
But the horror is typical. We like our jinn stories.
Yes, we do like origin stories a lot.
It's a story of a psychiatrist
Okay.
who spent her whole career debunking the people who treat psychologically ill people by saying they're possessed by jinn. So her whole career is saying, hey, these people are not possessed, they're sick.
Okay.
They're schizophrenic, they have,
Yeah.
they've got psychosis. And she's very successful.
Right.
So in this film, she gets a patient that her medicine can't treat, where she basically believes, no, this person
It's actually
is
possessed.
actually possessed. So it's a story that we've all seen before. Think Exorcism of Emily Rose, for example.
Right.
But it has never been told from a Khaliji perspective.
I would love to see that. Although I don't do horror movies, but that got my attention.
So that's my horror, and the comedy is it's a story of an artist. It's a story of finding love through art, basically,
Okay.
finding love for oneself
Sure.
through art. And again, Khaliji setting, Khaliji,
Beautiful.
and we have amazing talent here. Great actors, great directors. People here are amazing. Yani the people that I'm meeting are great. When I talk shop, when we
Right.
start getting technical,
Right.
yes, my terminology is different to theirs, but we understand each other when we do the work.
Right.
What we just need to do is the process.
Man, It's beautiful, like the vibes, and I can see that there's so much going on, and we're like pretty much you and the team are paving the way for even a more creative future for Bahrain.
Inshallah, I think it's our duties, mine personally, it's my duty to show my children, my nephews, my nieces,
Okay.
that you can do things that are not the status quo.
Right.
You don't have to go work in a bank and work in a hospital
Right.
and work a desk job for the rest of your life.
Okay.
No, that is an option, but by doing what we do, by hopefully building a cinema industry, by developing the music industry, by developing the arts.
Right.
Art is culture. Art is how you develop your culture. So
Right.
if I start doing this kind of work and then your son grows up saying, hey, he's a director, can I also be a director?
Right.
And if I did that before him, then I'm opening the door for him. Just like people like, the first Bahraini director that we've had, if I'm not mistaken, is Bassam al-Dawadi.
Bassam al-Dawadi.
Bassam al-Dawadi, with his work, he opened the door for people like me.
Amazing.
هو Bahraini, he's a Bahraini, and he
Right.
did what he did. And today, I can do that, and I can be taken seriously because him and the people who came with him and after him did that.
Okay.
So the future generation after me, I'm going to further widen that door for them, for your kids, for his kids and her kids. So I think it's up to us
Beautiful.
to create what we want to do. We shouldn't wait for someone to give it to us.
You know what, Ali? Like I was like things like, you know, when we end the conversation, I'm gonna say, what else do you want to say to the viewers? But actually, you laid it down beautifully. All I can say is that we're just looking forward to your amazing projects coming up.
Thank you, sir.
Definitely.
I would like to say one thing.
Please.
Don't cut corners. Don't take shortcuts.
Okay.
If it's easy, it's not going to be good. It's supposed to be hard. The journey is supposed to be tough. The hardest, how do you make steel? How do you make swords? You beat them. The more you beat them, the harder they become.
Beating on the craft.
So when you have a job to do, think of every possible problem that can happen to it
Right.
and fix it before it comes. Prepare that.
Beautiful.
So my company's slogan is respect the process. There is a process, respect it, apply it, and wait. And good things will come to those who wait.
Definitely. Keeping it real. Ali, very inspirational, I have to say that. Very, knowing you even from long ago, but even right now, I'm getting the vibes. Thank you so much.
Alhamdulillah.
And we are definitely honored to have you among us here in the pool of talents in Bahrain.
Pleasure's all mine, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, not more to be said right here. Ali Fingers, looking forward to amazing projects happening here with Bahrain Now. Stay tuned. So, ladies and gentlemen, from Bahrain Comic Cons to amazing music concerts like Blue, all in one place with one organization and one association. DALLAH Promotions with us here today is Salman Bukhari and Khalid Bukhari. Well, how are you, gents?
Thank you very much for inviting us. I mean, that's the first thing, of course. And of course, thank you all for being here with us and the team that is behind the screens that are helping us also do this. So thank you for having us.
No, thank you for being here. So, ladies and gentlemen, Bahrain Comic Con this year, what's the plan? What's going on? I know it's been a crazy hit last year.
It's a tear to the eye. But you can explain.
It's very upsetting, but as long, we care about the society, we care about the country, we care about everything that's related, and, they're asking to take care of the community and to take care about everything. So we are planning, inshallah, we're planning somewhere in November.
Right.
But inshallah, if the country is opened up, we will go for a full-on aggressive Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But if not, we're thinking of doing it virtually.
Well, we're thinking about it.
We're just seeing the
that doesn't
aspects
mean
of
that
it.
it's going to be, because I feel like not a lot of people are. I mean, Comic-Con, you know how it is. It's all about being there, face to face, enjoying what you're seeing, enjoying what you're doing, and just to have.
But not screaming on the background.
Yeah, on the microphone, screaming.
Right.
Everyone's like,
Make some noise. Yeah.
So so it's so hard for us to just jump from that, and just going all virtual with people meeting other celebrities or being a cosplayer or doing whatever they want to do, but through a screen.
Sure.
It is not what I don't feel like that is what Comic-Con is all about. It's when you go to a place you want to enjoy and feel what you see, especially when it comes to
Special guests.
The special guests, you want to see them. I mean, if I wanted to see them through a screen, I'll just watch a movie.
Right.
So there's no interaction where you can actually sit and say, oh wow, you know what?
I
sat and I spoke to Jason Momoa, an example. would be.
Right.
Yeah,
Why would
course.
you bring that name up?
No, I was gonna say
Guessing.
David Harbour or
But it has to be
Palm
Jason
or-
Momoa.
Yes,
but it
of
has to be
course.
like an actual meeting of the celebrity itself, or himself or herself. But then going through that procedure again, we're planning to do it in the end of November. Inshallah, if our life gets better and everything gets back to normal as it was before, November will be the date
Okay.
of 2021,
All
inshallah.
right, interesting. I mean, the thing is, but it seems like even since last year to today, a lot of even the pop culture events, Comic-Cons got affected, but we saw like there is more interest or there's more highlights into esports, which you guys pretty much worked on as well.
Yes, it's actually esports right now. I think during our the pandemic time has grown even way more than what it was before. It was already a multi-billion-dollar industry. It was already a multi-million population that are playing on the e-gaming sports or
Right.
esports itself. But I think during the whole pandemic, everyone had to stay home, stay safe, be careful. So I think the only thing that attracted them was just being in front of the screen.
Right.
It's either you're going to be sitting and watching Netflix and getting bored and eating popcorn and getting
Right.
a little fat. But other than that, just sitting and playing games is almost the same thing. So you'd actually sit and have to do it. But now we are like more into the whole esports organizations.
But let's say if you're going to talk about like when Khalid was mentioning about the pandemic. The pandemic, of course, everyone went in a total lockdown.
Right.
So like people who love reading books are going to read books. People who love movies are going to watch movies. People who love series are going to watch series. Some people had to create their own hobbies. Like there are some people who don't even understand. They spend their whole life just going outside, chilling outside, having fun, being with friends. All of a sudden you're isolating them. So they try to learn, they try to adapt. And a lot of people, like Khalid said, go back into gaming because in the gaming world, when you go into gaming, but you play games, correct? And Khalid plays games.
No,
So when we
no,
play,
I don't play games.
Oh,
I'm too old for that.
yeah,
Sorry
right.
to hear that.
That's why
I always play games.
He's always on Call of Duty.
And yours always on PUBG.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm always on PUBG. But like when you play the game, it's like a different world because the online presence is a bit scary because you get so glued to it. Like in some countries, they had to ban it because the people got so glued to the game.
Right.
And you can have a full-on conversation, and it's not like a conversation with a computer. You're having a conversation with an actual person, like in the game. And like sometimes it might get vulgar, sometimes it might get nice. I'm an aggressive person while playing. I'm being very honest. I love playing. When I play, okay, yes, it's a game, but I love to win also.
Yeah, you're pretty much competitive with your YouTube channel right now, doing all the PUBG content and being heavily involved in esports.
Yeah, we're trying our best. Yani, I went into the content because the reason since you mentioned the YouTube and content creation in YouTube, first of all, YouTube, people think it's easy. YouTube needs real dedication. It needs time, it needs effort. Doesn't mean, okay, sometimes you will have amazing views and sometimes you have no views. It doesn't matter whether you have the subscribers or you don't have the subscribers. Because it all depends, and the algorithm of YouTube have changed drastically.
Right.
And you have to keep on fighting. You have to be consistent. You gotta push yourself. Create. You never know when it will fly. Subscribers will come, but the problem is when you start having subscribers, and then like they start following you, and then they don't on the notification or they don't on anything, they don't get to see you. So you will have the number, but you don't have the views.
Right. Right.
So it will affect you sometimes. And there's also different other platforms where gamers are going into. But when you talk about esports, there is a lot into esports.
Right.
And I think that in Bahrain Comic Con, one of our most important sectors is the gaming sector, where we actually brought in international companies.
Right.
Our first year was just one hall. The second year itself, we got two halls.
No, 2.5.
2.5 halls. And then we, in the second year, because in the first year, we didn't actually, we had a full hall filled with esports gaming, but we didn't put so much importance as we thought that it was going to get.
Right.
From the people's reactions. We know people are going to love it, but we didn't think that would be the hall that would be filled the most.
Right.
So the second year when it happened in 2019, we took 2.5 halls where we filled it. We had only 8 or 9 games, I think, in the first year.
Yeah.
Second year, we had almost, which is 2019 again, we had almost 18 different games.
Yeah.
And we had launch of games.
And we had the
May Cry
launch
5.
of games.
Remember
Devil
that?
May Cry 5, Devil May Cry 5 was launched with us. There were so many other games.
Dirt Rally.
Dirt Rally.
Dead or,
were-
Dead or Alive 5, I think it was.
No,
or
Dead
4.
or one of like basically like when you work in Comic-Con, you have to be passionate about it. Like when we stepped into the Comic-Con world, but it was not easy. When we told to everyone we're going to do Comic-Con, they were laughing at our face. What you guys are going to do in Comic-Con? There are already other, what do you call it in Arabic? It's nakkarat or whatever they call it.
Right.
And they didn't like it. But we were very persistent. We fought. We took almost 2.5 years of studies. We traveled to New York Comic Con. We went to London Comic Con. We traveled all different Comic Cons, even around the GCC.
Right.
And our target was to be the best in Bahrain. When we pulled off 2018, it was a surprise that we were considered one of the best in the region.
Right. Tourism even was so high with that.
Exactly. And then in 2019,
This is where the tourism also got fully on board with
Yes.
us
Yeah.
in 2019. And,
Right.
and then when we said, oh wow, the tourism was on
Yep.
board this time, so we need to make it even bigger and better.
EDB supported. See, I cannot, like, we cannot forget the government sectors that supported us.
But of course, under
ED
the patronage of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Salman.
Yeah, the first person who actually believed in us, and when Khalid proposed the concept to him, was His Highness Mohammed bin Salman.
Right.
So when he proposed it, and he gave us full support, and he actually attended, and he gave us like the maximum support, like a support of no tomorrow. Yani, to be honest, yani, with his support and the way he was active with us, the way he was proactive discussing with us what we're bringing, what we're doing, it felt that he was a part of the con. He was like
Right.
the main, he gave us a boost because when me and Khalid were down, at one point we were so down because you know how Comic Cons are. Sometimes it doesn't go all, it's not all like stars and
Fairies and flowers.
yes, where
You know,
everyone thinks it's easy.
It's the behind the scenes where the anger, tear, joy, sadness is.
Yeah.
But right during the event, that is where all the happiness, laughter,
And now-
smile comes after.
So-
With all that been said right now, so it pretty much last year was a big hit for the entire world, and big events like Comic-Con got affected. That's why you guys pretty much took the initiative that you want to go to the esport platforms. We don't want to say much more than that, but
Yes.
apparently the guys have great future plans.
Of course,
in there.
amazing
Inshallah,
future
we're gonna
plans.
have very big future plans. Hopefully next time you bring us, we can actually sit and elaborate a little
Everything.
more about it. But this time, just because it's on the not starting, it's in the mid phase.
All right.
Going towards the ending phase, we just want to keep everything hush hush
Right.
till we actually come out with it.
Yeah. And
It's going to be announced everywhere anyway.
Yeah. And like I was telling to Khalid, like see Comic-Con, if it doesn't happen in November, inshallah by 2022 March,
Yeah.
we will have to do it. And if we're going to do it, and I told to Khalid, it will be the biggest Comic-Con.
Let's go.
It's not going to be Bahrain. Yes, we are called Bahrain Comic-Con, but our target is to make sure it is the biggest talk in the MENA.
Okay.
That's our target. Am I right?
No, you're not. No, of course, of course you're right, bro. But I'm going to say
And
no,
like
I
we
don't
have
want us to
full
be
support.
talked about.
And no, we love that, one thing, but I don't know if you noticed, or I'm sure you do, is that we got support from the studios, like the distributors, Shooting Stars with Warner Brothers
Warner
Studios.
Brothers.
They actually sent us shout outs from the movies, from Shazam, from Ready Player One, from Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're sending direct shout outs for Bahrain Comic Con, so you cannot just forget them. And then you have the game like Blizzard, the gaming companies like Blizzard, Activision, all these big companies gave us full support in Comic Con.
Right.
That's what gave us a push. So every time we said, oh, we cannot do this, they're like, no, we're here to support you. And then and there was a time when me and Khalid were not sure, like when Khalid said the Ministry of Tourism involved.
Right.
Okay. I was a big shout out to all the government entities that supported us, from EDB to Tamkeen to Zain Telecommunication, that had faith in us to pull off something like this. They actually believed in us. And 2020 was supposed to be like
The biggest year.
the biggest year for us.
Just because it sounded good, It's not because, oh my God, there's something different. No, because 2020, we're going to do Comic-Con as the best way possible. But
we
unfortunately, we got hit, and then we got Gypsy Kings to
didn't want to put that out there, but it's your call.
Oh my
That's
God.
your-
Yeah,
that was
We
your
brought
call.
we brought the famous Gypsy Kings
Yeah.
a month before.
No,
so
but
that
We
they
even got
can-
them on TV, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. Yes, and you were there to support us with that. Thank
As
you very
always.
much. They couldn't perform live to the people, even though we kind of sold out with the event. But then again, the safety of the people is more important than
Right.
the happiness of the people, I must say, because without safety, there's no happiness.
That was a
And
bold
you know
statement.
that the ritual of every Comic-Con, we have to have a concert before it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
It's
the
like a
year,
pre-concert.
a pre-concert. The year before it, when you were talking about 2019, we had Blue, the boy band Blue.
Right.
And it was amazing. It was crazy. You know, everyone didn't expect that to happen. And 2020, what I was going to say, it was going to be a big year, an amazing year, is because we had the Ministry of Tourism. When we spoke to His Highness, His Excellency Zayed Zayani.
Right. And that was a big thing as well, taking place over there.
Yep.
And with this, like, future plans are like even getting bigger and bigger. But I know you guys have a lot going on, and and it's like, oh my God, this is gonna be even bigger and bigger with the top. And we have a lot of announcements coming in the future. But before we end this conversation, any last words you want to tell to the viewers?
Oh, there's so many last words.
And I saw that
would
happening.
love
It's like,
to
this is,
tell
it's gonna be
viewers.
like an open podcast.
It's more like, if there is something that you love so much, never stop. You know,
course.
if you stop in something, especially when you're right in the middle, that means you're a quitter.
Okay.
And if you quit, that means you're never going to make it in life.
All
Yeah.
right.
If you
And-
love something, go ahead, take your chances, take your risk. It might be bad, but it's at least you took that. You're not going to say in the future, oh my God, I didn't try and it failed.
True.
And like what I will complete on my brother Khalid. Never give up,
Never give up.
no matter what. And see, do not, and that's what I mean, Khalid, believe. Do not believe on people. If you want to chase your dream, follow it, because the people around you are going to give you the funny thing
Criticisms that you don't want to
yes,
hear.
it's a funny circle. But sorry, I'm taking a little bit more time, but it's a funny circle. When you want to approach something, they criticize you, they make fun of you, they will pull you down, they will try to break you. When you start achieving, they're like, oh, okay. When you become successful, oh, we want to be like him. You become an idol. So you see the chain, it's a weird chain. But always me and my brother say, no matter what, nothing will take you down, nothing can kill you. As long as you're alive, what's going to harm you? If you fall down, get up,
All right.
stop crying, and push forward.
Push forward, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the amazing announcements very soon.
Inshallah.
Very
and
soon,
the
inshallah.
coming projects. And of course, as always, keeping it creative, keeping it strong. Thank you so much for being with us here on Bahrain Now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. More happening with the DALLAH brothers taking place right here with the Esport Comic Con, and more taking place right here on Bahrain Now.
Good evening. I am Dr. Ejlal Alalwi, Public Health Consultant and Field Supervisor of Testing and Vaccination Halls in Bahrain International Exhibition Center. I would like to talk to you today about the new strains of COVID-19 virus that have been circulating in many countries around the world. Those strains were tested by the World Health Organization and several medical entities, and it is confirmed that they are more contagious and spread faster through communities. This piece of information is very important because it plays a major role in increasing the number of existing cases, and unfortunately it might increase also the number of severe cases who need hospitalization and consequently number of deaths, especially those among the higher risk categories and elderly people. Our advice is to avoid getting infection with these strains by fully adhering to the precautionary measures, including wearing face masks, washing hands, sanitizing hands repeatedly, avoiding social gatherings, staying home and not going out unless necessary. If you have any warning symptoms such as sneezing, coughing, fever, severe diarrhea, please call 444 and stay isolated until you are getting tested. These precautionary measures should be applied at all times, especially when you are around elderly people and those who are at higher risk, like pregnant women and children. Let's also not forget to mention how important it is to get vaccinated with one of the approved COVID-19 vaccines. Currently, we have 4 vaccines in Bahrain and one is arriving soon, inshallah. More than 320,000 people got the vaccine in Bahrain. And let me assure you, all these vaccines are safe and effective in reducing the chance of getting infection and also in reducing the severity of the infection if, God forbid, you got infected. Finally, I want to thank all residents and citizens of our beloved Bahrain who are contributing and helping us in strengthening the efforts of the kingdom to address this virus. Inshallah, we will overcome this pandemic with our solidarity and the awareness of all the members of the community. And thank you for having me today.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was it for tonight's episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and don't forget to stay in touch with us through our social media accounts. Till next time, good night and God bless.